Go ahead and get this started. This is a work session. There will be no voting going on in this thing. We will normally have it's normally a work session where we can talk to our employees as a group and proceed from there. If we do need to ask you a question, please don't be embarrassed, or we would like to follow up on some items as we go forward. That being said, Mr. Barnes, Mr. Deany, we are looking at, first thing on the agenda is the board meeting for the work session for the coming year of 2017. Of course, the board meeting location is recommended that we keep it here at the Pickens County Administrative Office Building, Commissioners Conference Room at 168. Deborah has put together the 2017 work session schedule starting at 10 o'clock, and also the 2017 Board Commissioners meeting, which will be starting at 5:30. Which is still the Administrative Office Building on the first Thursday for the work session, and Administrative Office Building for the third Thursday. We would like to have this on the agenda at the third Thursday meeting when we get this approved. If y'all have any questions or see any changes that we need to make, please give myself or Miss Deborah heads up on this as we go forward. Y'all see anything just right off the bat? No. Miss Deborah, you got anything to add or take from that? And she went through it pretty carefully to be sure there wasn't any holidays or anything else involved in those things as we go forward.
My birthday.
Jared, where's your birthday?
Which one is it?
Yes.
April 1st?
No.
Oh, because April 1st is not on here.
Well, that's today. We were going to surprise you with a birthday cake. Now you can shoot it.
Now you done spoiled it. Now you done spoiled it. All right. Give us something to look at, and we can go forward, and hopefully we get that approved at the third Thursday's work session. All right. Item number 2, outdoor storage text amendment. Richard has brought this to our attention that there is no existing definition, there is no ordinance for outdoor storage. Have you had time to run this by the board of your Planning and Development Board?
No, sir, I will next week, and the county attorney has reviewed the matter, which has been revised based on an initial draft. I was approached by some citizens who live in the east part of the county and have mentioned that there's some concern about commercial uses when it's adjacent to residential. What I have mentioned to folks is that any change to the Code of Ordinances, in particular outdoor storage, would be effective countywide, just to make them aware of it. And so at first, I looked at other counties in Georgia and saw what they had. There's a lot of places like us who don't have any regulations, and there's some counties in Georgia that do regulate outdoor storage, especially once something stays outside for more than 24 hours.
Is it for what you got rolled up here, though? I was trying to really explain keeping the goods, materials, merchandise, and both area commercial just long 24 hours. What you're looking here is just retail product.
So, as proposed in draft form, which again, has been reviewed by the county attorney as being at least legally acceptable as a possibility, and based on other Georgia counties, if a commercial use, and again, this is just limited to commercial, not agriculture, not industrial, but just for commercial uses.
How does that do for yard sales?
That would not apply to, say, somebody who lives in a neighborhood or lives on a road and has a yard sale once a week, once a month, once a year. This would not apply to yard sales. So just for commercial uses, and the way we would interpret that would be, somebody that has a non-residential use with a business license and is effectively operating. So if there's outdoor storage of items in an unenclosed area, so again, they can have a storage building outside. This is not related to that. If there's just stuff stacked outside a commercial building.
So if somebody like Kroger, Ingles, I.G.A. have firewood packed outside for sale in the packages, then that would fall under those guidelines.
It would. There's currently not a specific line item list of, well, outside of commercial use, some items might be acceptable to stay out for days or weeks at a time, some items
Who's
not.
going to determine what's going to stay outside and what's not going to stay outside? Who's going to give that determination?
In the process of reviewing this, if the planning commission and the board of commissioners determines that there's some items that may be okay to stay outside for more than a 24-hour period, then we can change this draft. Excuse me. Right now it's pretty basic. It just says, as proposed, the displaying or keeping of goods, materials, or merchandise in an unenclosed area outside the front of a commercial use longer than 24-hour period shall be considered outdoor storage. Outdoor storage for commercial use must be located in a side or rear yard. The area between a commercial use and a public road shall be considered a front yard, whether property has one or more road frontages.
I'm just running through my mind all the items that we might want to discuss, because I'm kind of going over Home Depot, everything they've got out in their front, from lawnmowers to flowers.
Richard, who would police the 24-hour? Would that be the county marshal or?
Yes, ma'am.
So he'll be on call for 24 hours, something like that flares up.
Any of our regulations in the code of ordinances is typically on a on-call basis, in the sense that myself, our building official, the marshal, we don't ride around, every day looking for,
What you're
all
saying
these
is
10
somebody would have to
things.
call in to make a
Somebody would
verbal.
call in and
make a
say,
verbal
well, I'm
complaint.
concerned about blank commercial use. The people that have approached me have been most concerned about the Dollar General that's coming in the east part of the county. So if somebody a year from now, when Dollar General's open, called us, me or the marshal, and said, hey, I'm concerned about, Halloween items for sale. It's December. Dollar General's trying to get rid of all their Halloween items, so they've got it marked down blank %, and they've just had it, on the table, sitting outside, and it's been sitting out for days. Can you get it out from the front of the building? Then that's something that the marshal or me or the building official would go out and take a look at, and we would do our due diligence. We don't just come barging in and slap a $1,000 fine upon the first visit. It goes through a process.
I'm just curious. I think Cherokee County has something similar, but yet at Home Depot, the plants are always out front. Do you think they make some exceptions in that, or how does that work?
I don't know if there's a difference between the city and the county, in the sense that, the majority, of course, of the commercial uses are going to be in the city of Canton or the city of Woodstock, or here, the city of Jasper. I mean, we don't have, we have very small percentage countywide of commercial uses. It's vast majority residential and agriculture.
And the city doesn't have anything, I'm right? Am I right about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Jerry, can the ambulance get over to Richie Hancock when he hears about this and save him?
Now, here's his fence, though. You might could see it, but it's fence.
Yeah.
And as far as the dollar store on the west end, they take their stuff in and out. They've got these on tables, roll in the door, shut it up, come out the next day.
And I guess that would be classified for retail sales, I guess. Retail
That'd
sales
be a
and
daily.
commercial business.
But this doesn't classify that it can never be in the front of the building.
During the first 24 hours, any commercial use could have displays. After something sits outside 24 hours, as proposed in draft, after 24 hours, If it's not in an enclosed area, then it would need to be moved to the side or rear.
So if they take it in on a nightly basis and take
Put
it back out,
then
there's no difference than what they're doing now, so to speak.
As Mr. Barnes mentioned, if a commercial store brings a table out and sets it there for 12 hours, and then at closing at 10 o'clock at night or whenever brings in the items, that's fine, that's display. This is for storage that occurs more than 24 hours. Something's just sitting on, say, pallets for days or weeks on end and is not in an enclosed area. Something that is in an enclosed area is, for example, Walgreens here in town. They have enclosures where they keep various items in.
Now, you don't have enclosures specified what kind of enclosure. And you can use an enclosure as a chain link fence where people can still see through it and see the items in there. You don't consider that an enclosure? It's got to be an enclosure with solid walls where you can't see in.
Currently, as written, it's very general. To err on the side of caution, you might say, in the sense of, you're correct that it says if it's unenclosed, then it's subject to these standards. If it's enclosed, then it would be okay. So as it's written right now, somebody could enclose it in a solid fence, a chain link fence that's regular, something else. If the desire is to get very particular, we can always add things. Right now, what we did is we came up with a very rough draft. We looked at other Georgia counties. We ran it through the county attorney's office, and we made revisions based on those, and that's what we've come up with at this time. But it's just a draft. It has not been through planning commission. It probably will be either changed. It doesn't have to go through either. It's just something that I brought to you based on citizen concern.
I think it would have to have some changes, or it really would not help the people that have been coming to you. We could discuss that later.
Yeah, there'll be, I'm assuming there'll be quite a little bit more discussion on that one. All righty. Okay, item number 3, agreement for development of rural land values and building of rural land value schedules. Mr. Dobbs, I guess this is you want to let us know what you've got going on?
Yeah. What it is Board of Assessors has approved a vendor for a contract to update the rural land schedules for 2017. One of the biggest needs for this is the age of the existing tables, changes in laws from the legislature, new soil classifications that we now have the technology to take care of. So this is our plan to get that updated for 2017. And the board approved the copy of the contract that you have in front of you in their November meeting.
So would we be appraising more property than the previous years, or is it just a continuation of what we've done?
What it is, we're looking at everything around the county every year. This is specifically geared to the rural land table, which have a lot of different laws regarding timber extraction, soil classifications, things of that nature. It's not going to be your residential land tables or anything like that. It's more your big agricultural type properties located in Pickens County, Georgia.
The last item I'm looking at that kind of jumped out, and the total amount of compensation paid by the county to the contractor except as herein modified shall be a total price of $39,000.
Yes.
So this is the contractor, you're going to be working with a subcontractor to come and reval all these properties for 6,500 acres, or 6,500 parcels, I think it
It's
was.
about 7,000 total parcels.
Yeah. Contractor will review 6,500 parcels in the field accessible and desirability. So that being said, is the $39,000 that you're looking at, is that in your budget for this coming year?
It is.
Okay.
You sound a lot like Bart Conlon.
Easy, man. If I want you
I couldn't
to,
help
if I
it.
want you to get up
I
and slap me,
couldn't
just
help
come on
it.
down.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. Is it gonna have anything to do with the, what am I trying to say? The property, the way the properties are assessed, not necessarily assessed, but as you get the, what do y'all do when you do farmers, give them a break on their
Cuba.
Cuba? Does that have anything to do with Cuba?
It won't have anything with Cuba table values. The state sends us those tables. We're in Cuba District 2 for the state of Georgia. Those automatically go up 3% a year for anybody that's in the program. It does not affect those tables. This simply represents the fair market value tables that we have to represent fair market value.
Okay. In the event of an appeal to the courts against the contractor's appraisals and at the request of the county, the contractor shall, if necessary, testify as an expert witness to support the property valuations.
Now, not only when you deal with a vendor on something like this, not only do you get the original product, you want the vendor to be around to represent that for a while.
Who of the vendor would be coming? The gentleman that's going to have his name on the bottom of the
They've
contract?
actually got about 3 people that would come. There's David Fitzgibbon's gonna be the main principal, Melzer Nye's a registered forester that's part of the company, and Alan Hornaday. Any of the 3 would be competent to come and represent us, and sometimes it might even be more than one.
As long as I mean, we're gonna do, I want somebody of those 3 to be present at the court. That gentleman sitting behind you there will probably want to see that happen if that far along.
Yep.
Have you read this contract? Huh? Okay. Can this wait till our next county meeting?
Whenever you can officially,
No, we can't vote on it in here, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Okay. Y'all got any questions about this? All right. Any other discussions right now before we move to the next phase of this meeting?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, since Donnie Craig's here, I wanted to bring up the park on the west end,
Uh-huh.
and just give y'all an update. Donnie and I met with the church, Valley Creek Church, several of the members. Do you remember when, the end of November, 1st of December? And they were very positive and very excited, and I think, Phil, am I right, Phil, that you're looking at legally drawing up a lease of some type?
I think what we had talked about the first of the year was give some representatives from the church and see.
Okay.
what work out.
Okay, so we need to set that up for you to talk with some of the,
Yeah. I think Donnie and I were going to get with them after the first of the year.
okay.
Or do y'all too if you want to.
Oh, no, just so we get with them, that's fine. Do you have any other comments?
I don't. We have set some funds aside through the foundation, and so we're ready to move forward and start cleaning up and working on that project.
Or are you thinking more like when the weather, like March or something like that? Or?
If we could go ahead and get something signed, an agreement signed between the county and the church, we can go ahead and start some of the cleanup and some of the clearing between now and March, and then hopefully maybe in March be ready to start the actual improvements. I think that would be great.
That's all that I have.
Is that property down there, has it got enough room for a parking area?
It's going to be limited with the amount of parking. They're at the ball field itself.
Is it close enough is Yellow Creek Fire Station close enough to the ball field where they can park over at the Yellow Creek Fire Department without blocking the doors, I guess?
Yes.
If that be the case.
So there's a larger, pretty good sized area to the left of the fire station, and actually an old set of steps that went down to the ball field. So
Okay.
it's definitely something to consider.
All right. All right, any other?
I've had some concerns for some of the community, as far as the roads that we've repaved and all that. They can't see it now.
Can't see the roads.
They're not marked.
Give me a list of the roads and, we
Well,
have.
Gray Mountain, one of them.
Ray Mountain.
Yeah. The city part of it's marked, I think, but the county part's
Also.
Oh, down to Nelson.
not. Yeah.
Okay.
Turn right.
Well, all we got is Kim get it marked. It's got no problem.
Is that the striping?
Yeah.
I was approached by a guy about Afton Road, and I don't think, how much of that is in the county? It's not, maybe a quarter of a mile?
Very little. We looked at that and right now the road is in better shape than some of the roads that we're trying to get up to speed, so. we
They're
didn't-
just talking about striping.
Well, no, we can, that can happen as the weather breaks. We can't straighten it 40 degrees, but Kim is trying to get a list up so we get them, because that crew comes out of Decatur.
Okay.
That kind of, if we had a list, if we'd have known about Ray Mountain Road, we could probably already had it done. But haven't been notified on that one. Nobody's contacted me, but if we can go ahead and get it on the list. What else can y'all ask the roads?
There's some more of the roads that they paved, I don't think,
Everything that we pave should be striped, that's legal to stripe. You can't stripe a 17-foot wide road that just had resurfacing on it because you can't make two lanes out of it. So you have to be careful how you do those, because you put two vehicles coming at each other, and then each one who's got the right of way. So you got those issues to look at, because we don't have right of way on, allowing to widen them out to rebuild them, but we're just mainly just resurfacing. But Ray Mountain Road is not one of them, so I don't know. But I've got Astor Road, Ray Mountain Road. Have you got any others?
I hadn't personally looked at it, but he told me all of them, so.
It's Afton, A-F-T-O-N.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. After past the fire station there on the left.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get Kimber checked them out. I'd like to get them, if we got a few of them, I'd like to get them up here. We need to do more than one or two. We need to,
Well, they some of them have been repaved, and I don't know when they're scheduled to repave, but they do need them on there anyway. I mean, it's just like, it's gone.
yeah. We can look at, somebody give me if you got certain ones you need me to look at, but I can call these into Kim right here, that's not, or if they would call the road department, we get work orders wrote up on them. Works that well. Any other? Ms. Fay, you got anything? How's your auditing coming on?
Oh, it's already. The only thing that I have that's going to be on the meeting agenda for this month is, and it's a routine thing, that's why I didn't want to have it on special years, is the designation for fiscal agent for the family connections. That's something that we renew every year. I mean, it's fully reimbursed by the grant, they pay quarterly, so it's not.
It's not a whole lot of money
No,
anyway.
it's a little less than $50,000
Yeah.
a year. So it's not a problem. Either the Board of Commissioners or the Board of Education has to be the fiscal agent. And we've been the fiscal agent, I think, for 5 years. So it's not a problem if y'all agree to it. And that's for this 17-18,
Yeah.
their fiscal year.
Richard? Roy? Curtis? Anything else going on? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have anything else, actually, we're gonna have to go into executive session. And, pardon? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the work session, and then we're gonna go into executive, pardon? Call meeting here for executive session, that's correct. Let's see here. All right. We're going to a call meeting of executive session to discuss, meet with legal counsel pertaining to a pending or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought by or against the county or an officer or employee, or in which the officer or the employee may be directly involved. So this time we're going to go into executive session, and I guess we can go to my office.